Let's be real. Finding musical theater auditions today can feel like a full-time job. With so many online platforms, casting profiles, social media posts, it's overwhelming. And now that online submissions are the norm, auditions are more accessible than ever, but only if you know where to look. Most performers that I coach are wasting hours on the wrong platforms, or they're just skipping submissions altogether, missing real opportunities that could save them time, energy, and money. In this video, I'm breaking down the top 6 platforms that I personally use for auditions and submissions, red flags to avoid, and how to stop spinning your wheels and start submitting with confidence. Hey, I'm Ashley Espinosa, an actress and career coach for musical theater performers. I'm an educator. I have an MFA in musical theater. I was a professor for almost a decade, and I'm here to help you sustain a career long-term in musical theater, both on stage and offstage. This video kicks off my Musical Theatre Bootcamp series, where we are diving deep into digital submissions. And it all starts with where to look. Let's kick it off with Actors Access, literally one of the most trusted industry standard breakdown platforms for musical theater performers. This is not just film and television and on-camera work anymore. Since 2020, this is the place where you are going to see the most professional union and non-union auditions for musical theater. So great for both sides, whether you are a member of Actors Equity Association or you are not. It's going to allow you to filter by location, type, union status. You definitely want to hit the pro subscription, way more benefits than paying for it by audition, and it's not that expensive. It is honestly one of the cheapest of all the platforms that I am showing you today, besides the ones that are free. And it's the one that I really want you to dig into, and that's why I'm starting off with it, because if you want an agent, you need to be on Actors Access. If you don't have an agent, you need this built out so that when you are submitting, you have this profile to show them. It also is going to give you the ability to audition, submissions, do an EcoCast, audition by tape. There's going to be so many opportunities for you to do right from your home. Besides going into an open call and wondering, do they really want to see me or not? We can do that, filter down that first step, that first trim, if you will, of audition cuts. We can do that right here on Actors Access. And if you do have an agent, then you know that you have to have Actors Access, because your agent is going to submit you via Breakdown Express, which is the sister side of Actors Access that only agents and managers have access to. I know that it doesn't look as fancy or contemporary as Backstage, but it doesn't matter. We're here to submit. We're here to filter through so we know exactly what auditions are right for you and that we don't waste time and energy. You're going to set up your notifications. You're going to make sure that you're getting that email every single day so that you know what roles you are right for after you build out your profile. This is going to save you so much time and energy, and you're going to do this on every single platform moving forward. This is going to create consistency and persistent submissions for you as either self-submitting, representing yourself, or utilizing your agent's opportunities and submissions for you, along with self-submitting as well, because we need to do both on both sides of the coin. On Actors Access, you are going to see not only Broadway, regional theater, national tours, union and non-union tours, union and non-union regional theater, and also theaters that hire both union and non-union. You're also going to see things like theme parks, cruise ships, and this is a great way for you to be able to know what is happening in the industry. This is our job. Our job is to audition, and you need to know what's out there and what is happening. The next platform is Backstage. I want you to lean into this if you are non-union. Now, the best part about Backstage is that it's going to give you access to some auditions that are not going to be posted on Actors Access. Some of them will be cross-posted on most of these, but Backstage is going to have a lot of the non-union regional theaters and smaller theaters that maybe are more of a stipend to pay that are not going to post on Actors Access. So if you're non-union, really dive into Backstage. Really best also for early career and non-union gigs. Easy to submit. You can explore regional theater options. You can submit for options where the auditions are only going to be casting via tapes, which we do see in Actors Access quite sometimes as well. But Backstage is going to be great for you to really have access to other jobs that are on a different level than what you're going to see on Actors Access. With Backstage, you can definitely filter down what type of role that you want to play, where you are located, if you're willing to travel for auditions. So I want you to really dive in, set up your profile, also go in, set up your notifications so you get that email based on your profile after you build it all out. Again, creating consistency and persistent submitting with roles that are just for you without feeling overwhelmed and just opening up and seeing every single thing on there. Next up, to find auditions and submit online and perhaps just to know what is happening in the world of musical theater is going to be playbill.com. This is not a casting platform. It's a casting audition notice that is built into this website, and it is free. There is no count, there is no profile, but you're going to see breakdowns that are going to be cross-posted from what we've talked about already, along with the next couple of ones that we're going to discuss as well. So it's a great one that's free. It doesn't cost you any money. And sometimes you will see other auditions on here, especially for those of you in New York City that are on a more simple level, that's a one-time gig, that's maybe a one-day event, and other different types of opportunities like, character parties or other ways to make money that are somewhat musical theater driven, but are maybe not just a musical. But playbill.com, you definitely want to go in, you want to set up your notification, and you want to make sure you're getting that email that fits the location or at least the performer side category. Again, we're setting this up so you have your own business to run, to check auditions every single day, for that email to pop up and remind you to submit. You are going to see equity auditions, EPAs, and ECCs on here, as well as non-union. You won't see everything that you're seeing on Actors Access on Playbill, and you won't see everything that you see on Backstage on Playbill. Okay, so Playbill kind of picks and chooses when they're curating it, and depending on who posts their auditions on there as well. It's easy to filter too by location and performer, and then it's free and it's constantly updated. Next up, we have the Actors Equity Association online portal. Now, you only have access to this if you are union, if you're a member of Actors Equity, our union. Otherwise, you will not get access to this portal. This is where you're going to see all of the EPAs and the ECCs, along with submissions that are taking tape submissions at first in the online portal. What's really amazing is you can go through and you can filter it, easily see what is auditioning, and check your location and check other locations as well. See what production contracts are available, when the audition is. You can sign up for an appointment online as well through the portal. And it's really easy to navigate. It feels less overwhelming. And all of the Broadway national tours, and regional theaters that are offering equity contracts are going to be here. So if you're a union member, then you definitely want to look into this. If you're not a union member and you're thinking about it, I want you to go check out my entire full playlist series that I did on AEA versus non-union, how to know when it's the right time for you to join the union, what it looks like to be in the union. I have a whole series. I'm going to link that down in the description box below. You can go check that out if that's something you're thinking about. But the portal for equity, easiest place if you're a union member, that's number one if you are a member of the union. Every day, that's the one you're checking. Next up, we have one that I'm kind of considering as like a bonus if it works for you, which is casting networks. Now, we really see mostly on-camera work on this platform. So commercials, industrials, short films, some feature films as well. I do book a lot of on-camera work from this platform, but what I will tell you is that there's been some recent announcements and auditions and things popping up on this platform that are musical theater-ish related. So singing gigs that, jobs that want you to sing for some reason, or have some type of vocal background, or have some type of dancing background, or some special skill that we have as musical theater performers. Now, this platform is, again, one of the more expensive ones. I say it's almost really close to Backstage right now because Backstage prices have been raised quite a lot lately, but this is going to be something that I only want you to think about doing if you are thinking about diving into on-camera work as well. I do a lot of commercial work, a lot of industrials and print work that I get from casting networks, so it works out for me the best. But again, the best thing about this platform, Casting Networks is that you can go on, create a free account profile, just like you can Actors Access, and you can start to just see what's out there, set up your notifications, get the email every day of what's available, and then you can see if it's going to work best for you. Next up, we have social media. Now, this one is a little bit iffy for me, but there are a lot of folks out there that are using Instagram to find audition notices, especially if you are non-union. What I really encourage you to do for Instagram is to go on and to look for the casting directors' profiles. Okay, so the folks that are casting Broadway shows, national tours, union and non-union work. And sometimes they will post the auditions and the virtual open calls that they're doing, whether it's Broadway or regional theater. Or sometimes they will post the open in-call person that they're doing. Maybe it's like, the next open call in LA or Chicago for Wicked, which they do a couple times a year. But you can look at their posts on Instagram and they'll release that information. I would really be careful with Facebook. There's really not a lot announced on Facebook that I think is helpful. It can be a bit of a trap, and I'll talk about this when I talk about red flags here in a second. But if you're going to look on social media, really just maybe keep it to Instagram. And if you do find something on Facebook or you find something that's helpful for you, maybe you're in what I call like a bubble city, like San Francisco, the Bay Area, or even Chicago, and there's a group that maybe talks about auditions in your area, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to share that with people as well. Let's talk about how to choose the right platforms for you to focus on. If you are a union member, my suggestion for you would be to start with the Actors Equity Portal. That's your go-to every single day for online submissions and for signups for in-person auditions. And then next up, Actors Access. Whether you have an agent or not, you definitely want to be pumping that profile out on Actors Access and submitting for everything you possibly can. Even if you're going to go in person, even if you get an EPA or ECC appointment, I want you to submit on Actors Access. And then the third one I would say is if you are someone that's looking to make extra money and dive into commercial and on-camera work and film work and print work, then I want you to look at Casting Networks. Okay, that would be my order for you to really focus in on if I had to give you just the main top tier ones. Now, if you are non-union, I want you to start out with Actors Access. I know. Trust me when I say this to you. I've said this to so many of my clients before. You want to start out on Actors Access because we're building your career. We're working up to being a union member. And even if you're not working to be a union member, you want to work up to higher paying jobs. So I want you to start out with Actors Access. Make that a priority and a goal. Submit for that like crazy. Okay. Number 2, I want you to look at is playbill.com, which is free, no cost there. That's going to give you access to all the EPAs and the ECCs because you're not going to get that because you don't have access to the union portal. That's where you go for those. And then number 3 is going to be Backstage. Depending on what type of work you're doing and where you're located, Backstage is super, super helpful for narrowing down not just union auditions, but also a lot of non-union auditions that don't get posted on Actors Access. And again, it's hard to kind of, without talking to you and hearing your goals and what type of work you want to do and where you're located and what stories you're interested in telling, then these are the ones I would say to start with. Now, let's say you have an agent. Your agent is going to have access to your Actors Access profile. That's how they're going to submit you and then also directly pitch you to casting directors. But they're going to use your Actors Access profile, and then they're also going to use your Casting Networks profile if you have representation for on-camera, on-screen print work, that type of a thing. So again, we're talking about starting with the most professional websites, the professional casting platforms, and then trickling that down. And it's not just about auditioning and submitting. That is the goal. The more you do it, the better you get at it. The more you realize what's working, what's not working, what you're getting back, what you're not getting back. If you're hearing crickets, what do we need to change or update? But it's also giving you access right from the point of your home to submit for auditions. It's going to save you so much time, so much energy, so much money. You don't have to go in person. Then you can still work all of your other support jobs and have somewhat of a normal life, whatever, normal life means to you. But it's going to give you that different type of a routine that we never had, like really pre-2020. You're not pounding the pavement. You're not showing up, on the unofficial list if you're non-union and trying to get an appointment. No, we're going to schedule that out and make it more efficient and also submit for more things right from your home. The best benefit that this is also giving you, not just by submitting and auditioning and being seen by casting directors and getting your tape out there and getting better at filming tapes, but it's also giving you the opportunity to see what is happening in our industry. Literally, what is auditioning, what they're asking for. If you're union and you can see those EPAs, ECCs, what are they asking for you to sing in the room? Because when you submit on Actors Access, casting networks, even backstage, a lot of times you're just submitting with a reel or with a clip, whatever you already have up there as a first submission before they give you either an EcoCast or a request for tapes or an in-person appointment. So it really gives you immediate information to what is happening in the industry rather than what it was before where you didn't know unless you showed up to the in-person audition. So it really is giving you more information and helping you be a smarter performer and a smarter auditioner. As soon as you start to narrow down these platforms, even if you're going with the free version at first, I want you to set up your profile, build it out to the best of your ability. Done is better than perfect. And then I want you to set up the notifications on all of them. So you can set up notifications on Actors Access, on Backstage, on Playbill.com, and on casting networks. You can set those up to email you based on your profile roles that you're right for in your area. And if you are someone that's looking for something that's based in New York City, like Broadway, all the regional theaters that audition out of New York City, then you also want to make sure that you're ticking New York City as one of your locations, even if you're not in there, because otherwise you won't see those auditions. Set those up. We're creating persistent, consistent auditions and submissions for you from your home. Red flags to avoid specifically for platforms like Backstage. I have heard some horror stories from clients and then also people that just find me here on YouTube and then they DM me on Instagram or email me, or they find me in some, Facebook group that I'm maybe a part of helping give out, support to people that are auditioning. And they're like, is this a little interesting? This doesn't sound too right. Look for red flags, especially on Backstage. I've heard this so many times. If it feels too good to be true, it is. If it looks like it's just one person and they don't have a lot of information on there, they're not telling you how much it is, they're not giving you the full breakdown of the actual job, avoid it. It is not worth it. I promise you in the long run. If someone DMs you on Instagram or Facebook, or maybe even emails you, and they say, oh my gosh, I saw your Backstage profile. I think you're a perfect fit for this feature film I've done. And you haven't done anything on camera and you don't have an agent and you're like, it's too good to be true. Okay. A lot of scamming, a lot of spamming happening out there. Most of it does come from Backstage in my experience for my clients. When you look up the project too as well, and maybe it's a new work or they're workshopping something and you're getting it via email or you're seeing it on Facebook or you're seeing it on Backstage, and you look the person up that's in charge of it and they're kind of nowhere to be seen. They don't have a website, they don't have a presence, they're not on any, you can't find anything about them when you Google them. Maybe just avoid it unless you know them in person or you have some type of reference or referral to submit for that. I would avoid anything that just feels a little off or a little icky. Better to be safe than sorry. The biggest mistake that I see people make with online submissions and auditions is that they just don't click submit. So this is me telling you to click submit. I've said this so many times to my clients. I tell them this to myself all the time as well. I don't care if you just have a headshot and you just have your resume on Actors Access. Start submitting. The more you do it, the better you get at it. The more you're going to realize you need a clip. The more you're going to realize you need a reel. The more you're going to realize you need a dance reel. And you're just going to keep adding to it and building to it one step at a time. And then the more you submit and the more you're aware of these casting platforms, the more you're going to be able to say, this one is helpful for me. This one is not helpful for me right now. And let me divert my attention to the one that's really getting me more EcoCasts or callbacks or request for tapes or the work that I want to be doing. That's the name of the game. Now that you know where to find the best opportunities, the next step is knowing how to submit for them. So I'm breaking it all down in the second video of this bootcamp series, and I'll see you there. We'll walk through it together.